Hello guys, it's Debbie. It's time. I've got a brand new location. 10510 Airline Highway, Baton Rouge, next to After 5 Tuxedos. We have the perfect spot to get all your wedding and formal wear needs. Come see our one-of-a-kind name brand and get great prices. With 30 years experience, the best customer service anywhere. It's Debbie's Bridal, Airline Highway, Baton Rouge. See you soon.
At the Team Automotive Group, we're offering you the Team Guarantee on new and used vehicles. Included with every new vehicle is a lifetime limited powertrain warranty. And now, get a 90-day warranty on the purchase of a pre-owned vehicle. Get the Team Guarantee at every location of the Team Automotive Group.
Visit Treads & Care Tire Company's new location on Hooper Road in Central. Locally owned for over 50 years, Treads & Care is known for quality automotive repair and top-notch customer service.
I'd like to invite you to come out and see us at our new location in Central.
No one can stop me when I taste the feeling. Nothing could ever bring me down. Nothing could ever bring me down. Taste the feeling.
Today's edition of the Clarence Bug Show. Here's hoping all is well with you and yours in your little slice of South Louisiana heaven since the last time we spent a little time with you and yours. We start today's show as we typically do with Louisiana news, and this story could probably carry the byline, well, we all saw this one coming. In the wake of the recent tragic and horrific death of 2-year-old Mitchell Robinson, dying of a fentanyl overdose. His father announcing this week that he has secured legal services, 3 separate law firms, picking up the case and plan to file a lawsuit in the very near future. They claim gross negligence in the death of this darling 2-year-old. Ironically, just this week, the Senate Select Committee on Women and Children held a meeting, and DCF officials, did I say that right? DCFS, Department of Children and Family Services officials, laid the blame for their problems on a lack of funding. Now, this brings to mind the old adage, you can pay me now, or you can pay me later. And of course, as we all know, if you choose option B, I'll pay you later, it always costs you more. In this instance, the Louisiana legislature, not adequately funding the Department of Children and Family Services, will now face a lawsuit. So instead of funding the agency the way it should have been funded, we now, taxpayers, will get the privilege of paying probably millions upon millions of dollars because we didn't give this agency the resources needed to do their job. Now, please don't misunderstand me here. Pay me now, pay me later is one thing. But this darling 2-year-old, Mitchell Robinson, paid with his life. It is as horrific a situation as you will ever encounter. And at the end of the day, again, you can tell a lot about a society by how they treat their elderly and their children. Just an observation. Just an observation. By the way, the attorneys representing the father say they want it known that they're not going after individual caseworkers. Instead, they are focusing on the agency itself and the top administrators involved. The lawsuit has not been filed just yet. They are in the process of figuring out, do we file this in state court or in federal court? So as soon as we get additional information in that regard, we of course will pass that along to you and yours. In other news, here in Louisiana, specifically here in Baton Rouge, the East Baton Rouge Parish Metro Council this week passing a new ordinance to deal with stunt driving. I was going to elaborate a little more on what we should call it, but that's a different story for a different day. As you've seen in recent memory, individuals have become more and more brazen as far as ignoring the rules of the road and shutting down traffic, intersections, the interstate, etc., etc. So the Metro Council this week voting to up the penalties for those that are involved. The new ordinance by the Metro Council will increase jail time anywhere from 10 days to 3 months and increase the fine from $500 to $1,000 for first-time offenders. It also does, the ordinance looks to hold those who are spectators accountable. Elgene McNeely with the BRPD saying, quote, "We're holding you accountable. We feel you shouldn't be there, and it's in your best interest not to be there, because if you are, you will be cited and you will have a high fine." I don't know if this is going to pass constitutional muster in any way, shape, or form. And here's what I mean. An individual frequenting a store comes out and sees all this activity, smoke from the tires, people making noise, et cetera, et cetera. You are, if the situation is this, you can't leave. You're scared to cross the street because look at these idiots. They're doing donuts and burnouts, and I can't even get to my car. And law enforcement shows up to arrest those involved, and you're going to fine people that happen to be just watching. It is, I think that's a stretch, y'all. I think that is a major stretch. If that is the case and we follow it all the way through to its logical conclusion, then you should also be able to find people that witnessed a traffic infraction and didn't report it. You see it all the time. People running stop signs, red lights, et cetera, et cetera. You witnessed that. And who's to say that an individual just happened to be in that location at that time when it all unfolded, and because they didn't leave, you're going to hand them a summons, a fine? I'm tempted to say good luck with that, because at the end of the day, I don't see this one holding up to constitutional scrutiny. I don't. And when all is said and done, do you really want to open yourself up to additional lawsuits? Now listen, y'all, I get it. I applaud the Metro Council for taking action to curb this behavior. We've been, well, wait, let me back that up. I was just about to say we've been extremely fortunate no one has died, but I momentarily forgot about that innocent woman that was killed when an individual participating in these activities, I want to say it was after the Garth Brooks concert, then decided to run from police and killed an innocent member of the motoring public. I applaud the Metro Council for stiffening the fines and upping the enforcement thereof. But to fine mere spectators, good luck with that. I could see all sorts of lawsuits coming behind that. Just saying. Finally, here in Baton Rouge, one of the most used public recreation areas is our horrible-looking, deplorable conditioned University Lakes. Law enforcement wants you to be aware that there is an individual frequenting the LSU lakes that is, for lack of a better phrase, a sexual deviant. We've had multiple reports of an individual cruising the lakes and exposing himself to women as they jog, walk, cycle, what have you. There is a description out of a blue or gray sedan. What's the word I'm looking for? The description varies from time to time, and police are asking that if you use the lakes for recreation, stay vigilant, be aware of your surroundings, situational awareness. And if you have any information that can help the BRPD, 389-2000, of course, area code 225, 389-2000. We need to get this deviant off the streets before his behavior escalates to something else. I understand when you're out around the lakes, you're enjoying nature. It is the furthest thing from your mind. But you got to be aware. Know who's around you. Know what is around you. And when all is said and done, don't ever think that your information is too minuscule to help. At the end of the day, I would hate for you to carry the burden for the rest of your life that you knew something about this, didn't speak up about it, and a day later, week later, whenever, this individual's behavior escalates to an entirely different level. I wouldn't wish that on anybody. First break of today's show. When we come back, more Louisiana news, and we'll start with the story that is as Louisiana as crawfish, jambalaya, and DWIs. That's next when we continue today's edition of the Clarence Bugg Show, only on the Pelican. Stay close.
Hi, I'm Bobby Yarborough with Manda Fine Meats. Here at Manda, we know what the folks of South Louisiana love. They love great flavored smoked sausage, delicious deli meats, and specialty items like boudin and andouille sausage. Manda Fine Meats has been providing these products since 1947. We produce them right here in Baton Rouge, so you know you're always getting the freshest product at your local grocery store. Manda Fine Meats. Taste the fresh local flavor in everything we make. Make it Manda every time.
Bolello's Furniture and Appliances, your dependable independent. Depend on us for service, for selection, for price. Get huge Whirlpool savings. Shop now and save on Whirlpool appliances throughout the store. Plus, experience our price match guarantee and ask about special financing.
You can depend on the know-how of people who live appliances every day.
Bolello's Furniture and Appliances, your dependable independent with nationwide buying power.
I owed the IRS $10,000.
The IRS garnished my wages.
They put a lien on my house.
I'm self-employed and didn't report all my income. They claim I owe a lot more than I do.
The IRS is the most powerful collection agency in the world. They do not give up until you pay.
I couldn't sleep. We were being audited. I called Tax Solutions Now, and a great big weight was lifted off my shoulders.
I called Tax Solutions Now, and they got the IRS off my back.
Tax Solutions Now had had my wage garnishment lifted in 48 hours.
Tax Solutions Now can get you help. Our agents know the rules, can stop the pain, and get you the best deal.
Tax Solutions Now saved my business.
I qualified for the Fresh Start program. I paid less than I owed.
We connect you with a team of former IRS agents and tax professionals who get the IRS off your back. Time is running out. Call Tax Solutions now.
Call 800-778-4345. 800-778-4345.
The Mazda CX-50. Confident on- and off-road performance and intelligently designed utility inside and out.
The all-new Mazda CX-50 has arrived and is on sale right now at Team Mazda on Airline.
Hi, gang. Clarence Bugs here, inviting you to come by Old School Barbecue, 10655 Coursey Boulevard, where we tape the show live every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday at 11 o'clock. Come by and feast on news, sports, current events, love of God and country, and lots of common sense, along with some of the best barbecue anywhere on the planet. 10655 Coursey Boulevard, Old School Barbecue, home of the Clarence Bugs Show.
Live and play on the fairway at Greystone Golf and Country Club, a serene, challenging golf destination located in Denham Springs. For tee times and membership opportunities, go to GreystoneCountryClub.com.
Welcome back to today's edition of the Clarence Bug Show as we continue Louisiana news. This story, sadly, is as Louisiana as, I don't know, crawfish, boudin, etouffee, jambalaya, and of course, driving under the influence. This week, a Gonzales man was arrested under the suspicion of driving under the influence. Understanding, again, the presumption of innocence, that we assume you are innocent unless and until you are proven guilty. Here's where the Louisiana culture comes in. I'm tempted to say only in Louisiana, but it could be happening in other places. We're just not aware of it. Agents with the Louisiana Department of Wildlife and Fisheries spotted a car on the shoulder of I-10 in St. James Parish Friday morning. Car was damaged. They looked at it and figured out, hey, there's somebody in this car. So they pull over, and 31-year-old Brandon Rockwood of Gonzales was found to be driving under the influence. What makes this story notable, Brandon Rockwood has now racked up 3 DUIs and allegedly a hit and run in, wait for it, 1 month. You heard me right. His 3rd arrest for driving under the suspicion of being impaired in 1 month. Now, I don't know about you, but the 2nd arrest should have resulted in stringent enough action to where there wouldn't be a 3rd. We have, my fellow Louisianians, a culture problem in our state. Did I mention, and I think I did, this individual, Brandon Rockwood of Gonzales, is only 31 years old. 3 DUIs, suspected DUIs, and a hit and run in 1 month, and he's only 31 years old. Now, conventional wisdom says, and the statistics bear it out, he probably did this hundreds of times before being caught the first time. And you've got to imagine if he racked up 3 suspected DUI charges in 1 month, how many other times in that 1 month did he also drive under the influence, allegedly? This is a culture problem, y'all. And no amount of coercion or resources from the federal government, state government, local government, whatever, is going to fix this. This is something that we as Louisianians are going to have to tackle. It should say something to us that this young man at 31 years of age, and after not 1, but 2 DUIs, didn't possess, apparently, the cognitive reasoning skills to say, you know, I've been arrested twice for this. It's not been adjudicated. God only knows what kind of fines and penalties I'll be facing. So I need to chill out. If I have to send a friend to the store to get whatever it is I want to drink, so be it. If I, and help me out here, Marty, didn't the Louisiana legislature approve folks like the package delivery services? Can't they bring you alcohol to your home now? He don't know. Yeah, I am too. I'm not crystal clear on that just yet. But the fact of the matter is, there's Uber, there's Lyft, there's taxi cab, there's your partner down the street. Get somebody to take you to the store, buy what you want, go home and drink it. But this guy, allegedly, in 1 month, saw fit to get behind the wheel of a car and endanger the innocent motoring public. I have said before, and I will say again, the right person's loved one has not been killed at the hands of a drunk driver just yet. When that happens, we will see some meaningful changes. But in the meantime, how many of our fellow Louisianians will die on the roadway? Just a question. In other Louisiana news, I got to take a point of privilege and tip my hat to some parents that recently engaged in what is arguably, I was going to say the toughest thing for a parent to do, but it actually would have to be the second toughest. The first, unquestionably, toughest decision for a parent to have to deal with would obviously be burying their child. But recently in Houma, Louisiana, a couple of parents stepped up to the plate and did something that I can only imagine broke their hearts to do. There was a drive-by shooting in Houma recently, and law enforcement informs us that a 23-year-old man was shot multiple times. Come to find out, after the investigation unfolded, the guilty party here was a 15-year-old. After opening fire on a car, law enforcement is called. He then flees on foot into the neighborhood where the shooting occurred. Law enforcement searching the surrounding areas for the suspect, but it was the parents of this 15-year-old who, when they found out he was involved, promptly put him in the car and took him to the police station to turn him in. The 15-year-old was then taken to the juvenile detention center and charged with 1 count of attempted first-degree murder, obstruction of justice, and 1 count of possession of a firearm by a juvenile. Now, while we applaud the parents for doing what is one of the toughest things a parent will ever have to do, we also have to wonder how long he'll be in the juvenile detention center, considering how many escapes and riots we've had in recent memory involving incarcerated juveniles. This is a radical departure from recent memory, the juvenile increase in crime. And I can only imagine that these two parents that turned in their 15-year-old were raised by parents like Marty's and parents like I had. We were told in no uncertain terms from the moment we were old enough to understand it, son, if you get out there and do something stupid and get locked up, don't call me. Don't call me. And there are thousands of people watching right now that are nodding their heads in agreement. Clarence, my parents told me the exact same thing. And many of them, probably the majority of them, are also saying to themselves right now, when I was 15, like this young person, if I had gotten caught doing something like this that resulted in me getting locked up, the last person on the planet I'm going to call is my father. Let me sit here. Yeah, but you know you get one phone call. Don't you want to call your people? Oh, hell no. I am not about to call my dad to come get me out of jail for something stupid that I did, knowing better. Now, I don't know anything about this 15-year-old. I will be the first to acknowledge. But conventional wisdom says at 15, you know what you did was wrong. You know the difference between right and wrong when it comes to shooting at someone's car. You know this. If you don't know it at 15 years of age, what does that say about us as a society? Clarence, you can't say me that. Don't say that's on society. That's those parents. Well, those parents are members of society. What does that say about us? Sadly, the ages of offenders like this are continually getting lower and lower and lower. Bottom of the hour break. When we come back, remember the quote, and we talked about this earlier this week. In reality, they're not after me. They're after you. I'm just in the way. More proof positive when we continue the Clarence Bugg Show, only on the Pelican. Stay close.
Got termites? Get Premier Pest. PremierPestServices.com.
At the Team Automotive Group, we're offering you the Team Guarantee on new and used vehicles. Included with every new vehicle is a lifetime limited powertrain warranty. And now, get a 90-day warranty on the purchase of a pre-owned vehicle. Get the Team Guarantee at every location of the Team Automotive Group.
Hi, I'm Katie, Operation Manager here at Old School Barbecue. We're excited about all of the changes here at Old School, and we'd like to invite everyone to come out and enjoy some delicious barbecue at Old School prices. We feature brisket, chicken, ribs, sausage, and the Boss Hog pulled pork sandwich voted best deal in town. We also have live music Friday and Saturday from 7 to 10 p.m. 10655 Coursey Boulevard. We can't wait to see you.
Hello guys, it's Debbie. It's time. I've got a brand new location. 10510 Airline Highway, Baton Rouge, next to After 5 Tuxedos. We have the perfect spot to get all your wedding and formal wear needs. Come see our one-of-a-kind name brand and get great prices. With 30 years experience, the best customer service anywhere. It's Debbie's Bridal, Airline Highway, Baton Rouge. See you soon.
Hi, I am Dr. Farrell Frugier Jr., and I am a general dentist at Frugier Family Dentistry. I was born and raised in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. I went to Catholic High School, LSU, and LSU School of Dentistry in New Orleans, where I received my DDS degree in 1986. I always have and will continue to be committed to continuing my education, to invest in technology which makes the diagnosis and delivery of dentistry more thorough, more comfortable, and more aesthetically pleasing. In our practice, we are here to serve the patients. We want to improve their quality of life and to develop relationships with our patients. In dentistry, we have a chance to impact lives on a daily basis, not just by doing dentistry, but by getting to know them and being a part of their life. We also believe in giving back to our community. So every year, we give back to the Greater Baton Rouge Food Bank, Toys for Tots, and Mary Bird Perkins Cancer Center. Please stop by and visit our office. We would love to take care of you and your family.
Hi, I'm Hurricane Betsy Barnes.
And I'm Dr. Kay Siller with The Rocket Right Show.
We are two busy blondes on the go showing off life in Louisiana.
Watch us on Pelican Sports Network.
And Talk 107.3 FM. Check local listings for times.
Caught spiders. Premier Pest Services.
Welcome back to today's edition of the Clarence Bug Show. This segment could be headlined under a couple of different categories. One would be Donald J. Trump was right again. Another could well be the optics really look bad. Remember earlier this week we talked about, following the FBI raid on former President Trump's home, how he once famously said, in reality, they're not after me, they're after you. I'm just in the way. We then talked about the passage of the Inflation Reduction Act and how in that piece of legislation they put in a mechanism to hire 87,000 new IRS agents. It is, if this ends up happening, the addition of the 87,000 will mean that the IRS has more employees than the Pentagon, State Department, the FBI, and the Border Patrol combined. Now, I don't know about you, but what that says to me is that the Biden-Harris administration and the Democrats are more concerned with taking money from the American people than they are defending this country. I mean, you've got immensely more IRS agents than people that work at the Pentagon. It says to some of us, you care more about taking money from the American public than you do about ensuring the safety of our diplomats overseas and domestically, because again, you have immensely more employees in the IRS than you do the State Department. It says you care more about taking money from the American public than you do about stemming the tide of illegal immigration. I mean, after all, you've got immensely more employees, if this passes, in the IRS than the Border Patrol. This tells us where their priorities are. Oh, but it gets better. Just this week, a new job posting from the IRS saying that special agents for the IRS, if you are applying for the job, you, quote, must carry a firearm and be willing to use deadly force. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, the IRS already has the power to seize your bank account, assets, etc. So the only reason they would have to come to your house, into your home, would be if they, I don't know, got word that, well, you know, this guy owes $100,000 in taxes. I got good information that $100,000, it's in the safe at his house. You want your money? Go to the house and get it. By the way, did you also know in 2 months of this year, actually closer to 3, from March to June, wait for it, the IRS also purchased $700,000 worth of ammunition. You heard me right. So first we buy right at $750,000 worth of ammunition for the IRS. Then we get ready to hire 87,000 new IRS agents. I will leave to you to read between the lines, my fellow Americans. I know what it says to me, and I'm pretty sure I know what it says to you. This, unfortunately, is part of a very troubling trend that we've seen with the federal government in recent memory. Many of you either don't know or have forgotten what happened, what was revealed to us in 2012. Forgive me, 2013. February 10th, 2013. Barack Obama, 2 months into his presidency, it was revealed that the Department of Homeland Security had stockpiled over 1.6 billion rounds of ammunition, and shortly thereafter purchased 20 million more rounds. So the Department of Homeland Security stockpiles over 1.5 billion rounds of ammunition, then purchases another 20 million rounds, and now we see the IRS purchasing $700,000 worth of ammunition. The optics of this are terrifying. It is as though the federal government thinks you are either blind or so freaking stupid that you wouldn't be concerned about this. the Department of Homeland Security and the IRS. Meanwhile, President Biden goes on vacation for a week. Now listen, y'all. I am the least qualified to tell this man what his schedule should be. But in the midst of all the problems that we're facing, and days after you acknowledge, the White House does, we had no idea that the FBI was about to do something unprecedented in the history of this country. But I'll see y'all later. I'm going on vacation. You know, I cannot quantify this in any way, shape, or form. It's just a gut feeling. But if Donald J. Trump were president and something of this magnitude were to happen, the FBI, without telling the White House, goes and raids the home of a former United States president, Donald J. Trump would have had the people involved in this decision in his office the very next day. It would have been come to Jesus time. But what does Joe Biden do? He goes on vacation, going to the beach, South Carolina. Very exclusive place, by the way. My fellow Americans, we are witnessing in front of our very eyes the weaponization of agencies that you pay for. These folks are using your money to stockpile 1.6 billion rounds of ammunition for Homeland Security, $700,000 worth of ammunition for the IRS, going and raiding the home of a former president without any notification to the White House. There is no other word you can use other than weaponizing. It is as clear as the nose on your face. And at the end of the day, y'all, I'm sure by now you've probably seen the number of Democrats / liberals / progressives that have been applauding the raid on Donald Trump's residence. Do you not realize that in cheering this, failing to denounce it, you do realize, do you not, that when power shifts to the other side of the political aisle, you have now opened the door for them to persecute you the way they're persecuting conservatives. Of course, now you could probably make the argument, Clarence, they ain't worried about that. They got Dominion on their side. Well, that might be true. But the fact of the matter is, my fellow Americans are in no way, shape, or form nearly as stupid as they think we are. New poll out says the majority of Americans, after this raid on Trump's residence, oh yeah, we're going to vote in midterms. We're going to vote big time. This is not, y'all, an attack on Donald Trump. This is an attack on America. And at the end of the day, I don't see a point where when they start coming for Americans, they ask for your voter ID card. Oh, you're a Democrat. We're not going to mess with you. Scary and troubling times, my friends. Final break of today's show. We'll get her done, come back, put that big old pretty bow on this puppy, and we wrap up today's edition of the Clarence Bug Show, only on the Pelican. Stay close.
You can't smell it, but you can almost taste it. And whether it's for a family get-together or a game day feast, having Manda in the mix always sounds good. For 3 generations, their quality meats and original seasonings have made Manda a Louisiana legend and made their family sausage Louisiana's family sausage. Manda Fine Meats, the flavor says it all.
Treads & Care Tire Company announces its new location on Hooper Road in Central. Locally owned for 50 years, Treads & Care is known for quality automotive repair with top-notch customer service. Treads & Care offers the convenience of shuttle service and pickup and delivery of your vehicle. You can also enjoy the comfortable customer area, complete with workstations, high-speed internet, and a complimentary coffee bar.
I'd like to invite you to come out and see us at our new location in Central.
Treads & Care, the tires you need and the service you want.
Live and play on the fairway at Greystone Golf and Country Club, a serene, challenging golf destination located in Denham Springs. For tee times and membership opportunities, go to greystonecountryclub.com.
Tremonti's has meat. Tremonti's has seafood. Tremonti's has much more. Tailgating and home gating platters. Huge wine and liquor selection. Beer and all the spices you need. Chairman Reserve and Wagyu meats. Ribeye rolls, shrimp rolls, kebabs. 20 flavors of sausage for the grill. Daily lunch specials and game processing. On-site catering also available. Good meat ain't cheap and cheap meat ain't good. Visit Tremonti's.com.
Sometimes life is wonderful, and sometimes it's not. Cherish the good, but always be prepared for life's challenges. At Private Healthcare, we provide the peace of mind you deserve. With Private Healthcare, you'll get the coverage you want and healthcare you need. If your employer doesn't supply healthcare coverage and you don't qualify for Medicare or Medicaid, you need to give us a call right now. Private Healthcare is private health insurance for ages 65 and under with medical, dental, vision, and even prescription coverage. When life comes at you unexpectedly, you need to be ready. And health insurance is your financial safety net. Health insurance has never been so easy and affordable. If you're looking for health coverage at the best price and your annual household income is $35,000 or more, call the number on the screen now and speak with a live healthcare consultant. Don't wait. Get the coverage you need now.
Welcome back for the final segment, today's edition of the Clarence Bug Show. You may not remember this off-the-cuff remark that I made a little over a month ago when we were talking about the number of our fellow Americans that are fleeing blue states, Democrat-run states and cities, in search of lower taxes, more freedoms, the whole nine. I mentioned in a somewhat off-the-cuff remark, you better pay attention to where these folks are moving. They are fleeing blue states in record numbers. The problem is many of these folks that exercised voting patterns and supported parties that have ruined their states, forcing them to run to find someplace better to live, you better be aware if they're moving into your state, because many of them will bring with them the same convoluted attitudes, opinions, and voting patterns that destroyed the places where they were living. In recent memory, the left, Democrats, mainstream and social media, pushed this whole bail reform movement. Remember that? Saying, we need to give folks every opportunity. Bail is racist. Requiring people to put up money, property, whatever, to be sure that they show up in court to handle whatever their legal business happens to be, that's a racist concept. Bail reform, allowing folks out after many of the most egregious crimes without bail. What could possibly go wrong? Well, I'm glad you posed that question. It was announced this week, the New York Post reporting on what has happened in New York in the wake of bail reform. They scrutinized the numbers and found out that the worst of the worst in New York, 10 people, 10 criminals. You can't make this stuff up. 10 criminals, since bail reform was enacted, have been arrested right at 500 times. You heard me right. Since 2020, 10 criminals in New York have been arrested right at 485 times, to be exact. 2 of these 10 were accused of embarking on a life of crime immediately after bail reform was enacted. One guy arrested 33 times since 2020, another 22 times. And, of course, the illustrious mayor, Eric Adams, Democrat, now voicing concern about the matter. Quote, "Our criminal justice system is insane." Duh, you think? 10 people in 2 years racked up an average of 48 and a half arrests a year. Keep in mind, to put this in context, you were arrested 48 and a half times on average per year. There's only 52 freaking weeks in a year. So you were just shy of being arrested every single week for 2 years. And they let them back out. The majority of these 10, they have no idea where they are. They're gone. Catch me if you can. This is why, my fellow Americans and Louisianians, it is vitally important that you not only vote, but keep an eye on what is happening in your city and your state. At the end of the day, when these folk leave blue Democrat-run states and flee someplace else, many times they will bring their demented way of thinking with them. And when they do, guess who gets the privilege of dealing with that? Y'all excuse me 1 second. I forgot to turn it down. One thing I love about my new phone, scam likely. Imagine that, right? When all is said and done, y'all, as a Louisianian, the humanitarian in me loves people. Oh, man, wait, you just moved here? Where you come from? Oh, yeah, I thought that was a good time. But, man, we're glad to have you here. Unless, of course, you are going to bring some of the same crap that you were doing that ruined your state to my state. Listen, y'all, I get it. I understand in the wake of COVID, inflation, crime, all of these things. Clarence, you trying to put something else on my plate now. Trying to get me to try to watch and figure out who's moving into our state. Well, the fact of the matter is, my fellow Louisianians, we got too much to lose. And sadly, you could conceivably make the argument that we're heading down that same road in small incremental steps. We just talked in the second segment actually, about the guy arrested for his third DUI in 1 month. Kind of sounds a little bit like New York, doesn't it? See, this is what they do, y'all. This is how they play you. They put a pretty name on it, a label. Ooh, bail reform. And what happened? The criminal thrives on society's indulgence. Oh, you mean to tell me I can get arrested for this crime? I don't have to post bail and I'll be out the next day, if not that afternoon? Well, what do you think is going to happen when the criminal element figures this out? 10 people arrested 485 times. And many of them involve felonies. But even if it were, I don't know, shoplifting, if that's a misdemeanor, at what point is a judge supposed to say, I see here, Mr. Marty, that you've been in my courtroom 37 times in the last year for shoplifting. At what point do you throw the book at these clowns and protect the public? But it's all part of bail reform, criminal justice reform. Well, how's that working out for New York? And my gut tells me, and I've learned to trust it, my gut tells me New York is not the only place where this is happening. My time's up, y'all, and I gotta go. Once again, and I will be the first to admit it, it's getting hard about a day to say it, but I still believe it. You know what? I give it to you. You're right. America, we ain't perfect. But for this old boy's money, it's the best there is, and God knows there's no place else on his green earth that I'd rather be. Speaking of the good Lord, I know you got by now the memo, the email, the phone call, the letter, whatever. You know that the good Lord above loves you dearly. And I hope you know that I do too. Then again, it really doesn't matter because there ain't a doggone thing you can do about either one. Take care of yourselves. We'll see you soon. God bless.